Alright, it looks like we are live. So this is, of course, English Time with Mr. Chris. Today is what, December 9th? It's like 16 more days till Christmas. So this past weekend, I went to Koga City, and so my lesson today is about that. And today we're doing a Can You Find the Mistake? Which is fitting because I played the piano this weekend, and I made a mistake at the start of my song. So can you find the mistake in these sentences? So the first one, I went to Koga in Ibaraki last weekend. So I went to Koga in Ibaraki last weekend. So there's one mistake in this sentence. Let's see if you can find it. Give you a moment. So the mistake here is a capitalization one. And maybe Ibaraki is a hint. So Ibaraki is capital I, so Koga also needs to be a capital K. A capital K. So I went to Koga in Ibaraki last weekend. So I used to teach in Koga for 5 years. So anytime I get a chance, I always try to go back. There were a lantern battle festival on Saturday. So I've been to this one before, and I have some videos on my YouTube of this. So there were a lantern battle festival on Saturday. So can you find the mistake with this one? So this festival is kind of interesting because they have bamboo, and on the top of the bamboo poles, they put lanterns, and then teams try to swing the lanterns into each other to break the lanterns, to knock the fire out of the lanterns, to set the lanterns on fire, or to break the poles. So it can be kind of interesting, a little dangerous. So like one of the lanterns broke and fell. So I don't know if people got hit. So this one, so instead of were, it should be was. So you want there was. So there was a lantern battle festival on Saturday. Oh, lantern. There was two. L-A-N-T-E-R. Lantern. That one was not intentional. I just realized that as I was looking at it. Okay. And next one. There was a piano event on Sunday too. So there was a piano event on Sunday too. So can you find the mistake with this one? Did you find it? So the mistake with this one is with two. It should be a different two, like T-O-O. So there was a piano event on Sunday too. And this was the third time they were doing this event, and I played last year too. So it was kind of cool because I did get to see one of the people I played with last year, because he was like a jazz pianist. And then I also, I think, told the same girl who like played way better than me that, oh, you're really good. Okay, so the next one. So I only had the money to go to Koga by train one time. So I only had the money to go to Koga by train one time. So the Lantern Festival was on Saturday, and the piano event was on Sunday. So can you find a mistake here? So I only had the money to go to Koga by train one time. So maybe you picked it up from my pronunciation. At the end, we have times, and since it's one, you don't really need the S. So I only had the money to go to Koga by train one time. And that same weekend, I was also thinking about going to Tokyo to see Reina and hopefully go to a job fair. But I didn't have the money to do that either. So I figured this one's closer. I can do this. And I also didn't have enough money for a hotel. So you can kind of guess maybe where my weekend was going. So I also didn't have enough money for a hotel. Find a mistake here. So the mistake in this one is towards the beginning. So mistake is with also. Here's we have aslo. So want to change the S and the L. Also. So I also didn't have enough money for a hotel. So I stay awake all night. So the festival started at 4 and ended around like 8:30, and was kind of wrapping up really around 9. So from 9 until 12, I waited in the station. And yeah, so next one, can you find it? So this should be I stayed. So I stayed awake all night. And so after staying there from 9 to 12, what I did next, because the station was closing, I walked around the city from midnight until 4 a.m. because I had to kill some time until the morning. So I walked around the city from midnight until 4 a.m. And since like around 5 is when trains start again, so like I was able to kind of go back to the station around that time. So yeah, I did a lot of walking. So the mistake here is with from. Here we have form. So it should be FRO. So I walked around the city from midnight until 4 a.m. And I was basically outside the whole time. And it was about 2 degrees Celsius. So it was a little cold. And this is a spring jacket that I was wearing. So yeah. And basically the station is also, the doors are open. So I was basically just outside from around 4 p.m. until 8 a.m. So it was about 2 degrees Celsius. So the mistake here is with about. So the O and U are backwards. So it's about 2 degrees Celsius. A little cold. So yeah, I was definitely like freezing and waiting for the restaurant to open. And I felt good after eat breakfast at Latteria. So it's kind of funny because Latteria is in the station. So I feel like I waited from when the restaurant closed until it opened. So I was definitely the first person there. So I felt good after eat breakfast at Latteria. So this one, eat should be eating. So past. So I felt good after eating breakfast at Latteria. Which I thought was kind of surprising because it's like I had been up all night. And once I ate, I was like, oh, I think I'm good. And so I then went to go to the piano event. And while I was waiting, I realized I had forgotten the third bar of the song. So can you find the mistake here? I realized I had forgotten the third bar of the song, which is kind of funny because since I was in the city 2 days, on Saturday, I also played the same piano I was going to be playing on Sunday just to kind of warm up. And I played the song, no problem. But when I was out there for the event, because I was tired, I realized I had forgotten the third bar of the song. And this realize should be realized. So I added D. So I realized I had forgotten the third bar of the song. And I was hoping I would remember once my hands touched the keys. I was hoping I would remember once my hands touched the keys. So I play all my songs basically by memorizing them, so I don't need the sheet music. So when I was there, I didn't have the sheet music to check. And I was just sitting there very tired trying to think, and I just couldn't find it. So I was really hoping that once I sat down at the piano, it would just be all muscle memory and I'd be able to play fine. So here, mistake is me. It should be my. So M-Y. So I was hoping I would remember once my hands touched the keys. And basically, I played the first 2 parts, and then I accidentally repeated the same part for the third bar, which I wasn't supposed to do. And so then I was kind of thrown off with my right hand, and it took me a moment of kind of getting around the same area, and then it clicked, and I'm like, I got it. And I was fine for the rest of the song. And the funniest thing about all this, too, is that I remember the song as I was leaving. So literally, I got to the door of the department store as I was leaving, and I remembered what I was supposed to do with my hands in the third bar. So I remember the song as I was leaving. And I had a lot of time to even think about the song before I played because I was the 17th person to play. And as I was watching the first 16, I was just sitting there. I don't remember what it is. So yeah, I was really tired. So I remember the song as I was leaving. So what's the mistake here? Mistake is with leaving. So we got a lot of backwards letters on this one. L-E-A-V. So I remember the song as I was leaving. So I'll put a link to my piano playing. So hopefully people can go and enjoy it. Despite all the mistakes. There's only like a couple. And I don't feel like they were that terribly noticeable. So, I mean, some of them, yeah, I'm definitely playing the wrong thing and I kind of correct. But yeah. So that was my interesting weekend. So I hope you had a good weekend and have a good rest of your week. So that's all for today for English time. So the usual goodbye, everyone. And of course, see you next time. See you. Have a good night. Take care.